Hi, my name is Amanda. Welcome to the first episode of the Birch and Lily podcast. Today is Monday, November 19th, 2018, and this is going to be a podcast primarily about knitting. I decided to start it up just because my husband and I moved to a new country and a new state, and I don't know a lot of people, so I figured this would be a really good way to get to know the knitting community. So I guess that's about all I had to say, so we can jump right into what I'm wearing. This is my Zweig sweater. I finished it, finished it a couple months ago, but I just blocked it a couple weeks ago. So I'm super happy with how it turned out. This is my first adult size sweater. So I knit it in All Sweet Georgia yarns, Tough Love sock. The dark color here is charcoal and the color of the yoke is London Fog. I'm super happy with how it turned out. The only thing that I wish wouldn't have happened is the lace stretched out quite a bit, but I kind of compensated for that when I was knitting it. I knit the body a little bit shorter as well as actually the arms so that when I blocked them it hopefully wouldn't stretch too much because I knit it with a super wash yarn. So I think that's about all I have to say. I knit a size small, and I knit it with the recommended needles on the pattern. And this pattern is by Caitlyn Hunter. Sorry if everything is super jumbled. I'm trying to follow notes, but trying not to look down at my paper too much, and I'm just a tiny bit nervous, so hopefully this goes well. Hopefully it's not too short. Hopefully it's not too long and I end up rambling either. I can't see that happening, but so I guess we'll move on to works in progress. I've got them down here beside me. So the first project that I have on my needles, whoops, I grabbed the wrong bag, is in this really cute bag. It's by Yarn Candy Studios, and this little pin on here is from Hello Stella. I just love this bag. It's my favorite color, purple, and these llamas are just adorable. But anyways, what I've got in here is a pair of Times Square socks. It's a pattern by Mina Philipp. You might know her as the Knitting Expat on Ravelry. Using 2.25 needles. That's a US one. These are the Chiago Twist interchangeables. I really like them. The cable on them is super flexible, so I don't have to use as long as a cable as I normally do. I don't have to worry about laddering or anything up the sides. But sorry, everything's really tangled right here. But these are the socks. I guess I can hold them up a little bit closer to you guys so you can see. I have them knit up in two different yarns here. At the bottom is Aspens in Fall by Explore Knits and Fibers, and this yarn here for the leg is by Life in the Long Grass. It was a club colorway. I think it was called Leaf Fall. Super pretty. It's too bad it was a club colorway, but what can you do? So I cast on 64 stitches for these socks, and they have a 2x2 rib cuff. I've never knit socks for her before, so fingers crossed they fit. I'm knitting them for a size 7.5 US foot. I'm following this chart that Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady had talked about on her podcast that gives lengths of all the different size feet, so hopefully that should give me a good fitting sock. But the pattern is super easy to memorize. I love the little cables on it because they don't make the sock too tight, but they still give you that look of like a 4-stitch cable. So I started these a couple days ago, hoping to get them done by Christmas, but they aren't technically a Christmas present, so they're not done in time. Well, I guess she'll just get them a little bit later. So moving on to my next project. These are just a pair of vanilla socks. They're in this really cute bag by Birch Grove. I got this quite a while ago, but it's the perfect size for taking socks in my purse for car knitting and stuff like that. It fits one little ball of yarn perfectly, and it crumples up quite well as well, so it doesn't take up too much room in my purse. But the yarn I am using is by Lollipop yarn. It is the Christmas Waltz colorway. So this is my first official pair of Christmas socks for myself this year. I knit a pair for my husband a couple weeks ago, but this is the first pair for myself. So here they are. I've got quite a bit of progress done on them. I put the heel in yesterday. So I have quite small feet. I'm a size 6.5 US, so they shouldn't take me much longer. This heel is done in a contrasting color, and I'm going to do the toe in that color as well. Cast on 56 stitches, 2x2 rib. Oh, and this little progress keeper here is super cute. It's a little hot chocolate by Sucre Miniatures. I'm knitting these on 2.25s as well. Chiagu, my favorite needle. They're super affordable, but super good quality. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, with these needles, the cable is just a little bit more stiff, so I like to knit them on a 40-inch or 100-centimeter cable so that I don't get laddering up the sides, because I find with anything smaller, it's just awful. This is going to be a pretty short podcast. I just wanted to dip my feet in the water and get used to it, and I'm trying to be a little bit more monogamous with my projects, because for a while there I had so many things on the needles and I was just getting a little bit overwhelmed about it. But I guess we'll move on to finished objects. This is a pretty sock heavy podcast. I'm waiting for some yarn in the mail for a sample knit for Bethany of Woolberry Fiber Co, and that will be a sweater, so I didn't want to start anything new right now because I need to have that sweater done in a time frame. So I guess what I'll show you first for finished objects is this pair of blueberry waffle socks. I finished these actually just last night. I finished the socks themselves a couple days ago and I blocked them last night and got the ends weaved in. So yeah, these are blueberry waffle socks. Again, I knit them on 2.25 US 1 needles, Chiagu 40-inch cable. Nothing different there, but this yarn is by Woolberry Fiber Co. It is one of her Gilmore Girls sock clubs from last year. I believe it was the December 2017 one, and the name of it, I believe it was called It's Magical. So I had this really strange idea in my head that I wanted to save up a year's worth of her Gilmore Girls sock clubs and then knit them all up afterwards. I think I had done it mostly because I wanted a picture of them all lined up together, which sounds really silly to me now that I've actually done it, but it's been fun knitting them and kind of finding patterns that I really, really liked, but I haven't been able to knit because I've been so busy with my designing, which you will see in the next finished object actually. But yeah, this is kind of just a little bit of a treat to myself. I'm trying to slow things down now that the holidays are starting and not do so much work and just kind of enjoy my time knitting. So yeah, this is actually the second pair of the Gilmore Girls sock club that I had stashed up. The first one is actually, I don't know if you can see them hanging back there, but those are Cereal Socks by Little Bobbins. Super, super cute. And I love the ribbed texture on them because it just makes the socks that little bit more snug and they don't stretch out so much. And actually, these socks are a lot like that as well. They fit so much better than a straight stockinette sock. Not that those don't fit well as well, but something about it is just so nice and cozy. So these socks I did cast on a 2x2 cuff as well. Seems to be the typical thing for me. And then I did a wedge toe. I do flip back and forth between a wedge toe and a rounded toe, but when I don't want to think, wedge toe is the best way to go. These have a heel flap and gusset as well. That I found, I used to do a lot of fish lips kiss heels, but I found that heel flaps and gussets fit me the best. So I've tried to use those on my socks. I still go to Fish Lips Kiss Heels for gift knitting and stuff like that, just because it's so hard to know how the sock fits someone unless you knit them quite a few pairs. But yeah, I think that was all I wanted to say about these guys. So we'll move on to my next finished object, and these are pretty exciting for me. This is actually one of my own patterns, and it just released today, which is so awesome. I've been really looking forward to getting this one out to everyone. So these are called the Ingleside Socks. I knit them up also in Woolberry Fiber Co. This is her Wake Up San Fransisco sock set. So it's got this really beautiful speckled purple, pink. There's actually a wee bit of yellow in here that I never noticed before as well, but it's mostly purples and pinks, and then this beautiful mint cuff. So the pattern is written with a 2x2 rib, heel flap and gusset, just a normal slip stitch heel, and these have a rounded toe. It just looks so much nicer when you flatten them out. It's not so severe. So that's why I like to put that in most of my patterns. So these socks are cabled. If you don't know cabling or haven't learned it, it's a really good pattern to start because the cable is super simple, not intricate by any means, but looks really intricate. So the sock has this beautiful braid cable running down the middle, and then these two panels of seed stitch surrounding it on the sides. And then there's actually a little bit of a surprise on the back, which is a new thing for me. I've usually just knit, at least for my patterns, the back of the sock just in stockinette, but I decided to do these two little cables running down the back just to add a little bit more interest. They do make the sock a little bit more snug, that and the front cable actually, but I didn't find it was enough to really make me need to change the size of socks that I knit. Oh, and I forgot to say those last socks, the Blueberry Waffle socks, I knit those with 64 stitches as well. I find usually for plain stockinette socks for myself, 56 stitches creates a good fit. 60 is just a little bit too loose, but anytime I add patterning to it, 64 is good. So yeah, this is the 64 stitch size of the pattern. It comes in three sizes, 56, 64, and 72, but it's decently customizable. If you wanted to, you could probably do a little bit of fiddling and just remove some of these stockinette stitches to make it your own custom size. It's not too complicated that you wouldn't be able to figure that out. So yeah, these patterns, or this pattern rather, went live today, so I'm super excited to get it out to everyone, and I'm actually having a sale on all of my patterns right now to celebrate the release of these socks and also for Black Friday. So if you go to my Ravelry page, Birch and Lily Designs, no coupon code needed, just put any of those patterns in your cart and you'll be able to get them for 20% off. And actually, now I'm thinking of it, I totally forgot to say where you can find me online. My Instagram is birch.and.lily, and my Ravelry, my personal Ravelry page is Birch and Lily, no dots. And yeah, my patterns are Birch and Lily Designs. You can also find them under Amanda Purser on Ravelry as well. Wow, I'm talking really fast. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this and I can learn to drag things out a little bit more. So the next thing, that's all I really have for finished objects and works in progress. The next thing I wanted to talk about was just kind of some of my dream knitting or different things that I'm kind of getting ready for the holiday season. I decided to go through all of my yarn and pick out what I wanted to knit and get it wound up now, because I know within the next couple weeks things are going to get pretty busy, and while I will want to have the time, I don't think I'll be able to have the time to pull out my ball winder and my Swift and get everything knit up. So I don't know if you can see behind me there my little collection of yarn, but I figured I'd show you guys a couple of them and kind of talk about what I'm thinking I'd like to do with them. So give me a second, I'll grab those. So the first one that I wanted to show you is this sock set right here. This is the next one in my weird little personal Gilmore Girls knit along that I'm doing. So this is called Dean You Idiot. And I'm thinking that I would like to knit up a pair of Galliano socks by Tracy Miller. out of this. They're super, super pretty, but I just didn't have the right yarn to knit them with, which I'm saying that now and you can see my collection of yarn back there. But I just wanted something that had a little bit of speckling, but not too much, because it's a decently intricate pattern and I didn't want the speckles to take over the pattern and not let you be able to see how beautiful it is. So yeah, these should be turning into a Galliano socks pair of socks pretty soon. And then the next one I have here is actually in a little bag that I think I'll open. Sorry for the crinkling here. This yarn is by Tiny Human Knits, and it is the most beautiful Stellina Gobstopper ball. It's called Cherry Mousse. So what I'm thinking I would like to do with this pair, I've never done one of those pairs of self-striping socks where you do the slip stitches every time the color changes. So I figured, just since the colors are so, like, they're quite close to each other, but they're so subtle at the same time, that this would be a really pretty ball of yarn to try that out with. So I don't know if I want to do a contrasting heels, toes, cuffs on this pair of socks. Probably, just especially for the heels, just so it doesn't break the stripes up, because that really bothers me when the stripes don't match. So yeah, I think I will go digging through my scraps and my minis and see what I can find for a contrasting heel, at least, on these. But yeah, I want to try that slip stitch pattern out and see how it looks. Hopefully it'll make for a still really easy to carry around and work on around people pair of socks, but something that's just a little bit more, interesting than a normal self-striping sock. Pop that back in a little bag. And then I do have just another pair of, or another ball of Lollipop yarn here. I was able to get quite a bit of her yarn on a D-stash, which is good because I find it's so hard to get normally. So it's in the cutest little bag here that I'm just trying to get untied. So this colorway is called Smile, and she does the cutest little thing where she gives all the different colors in the colorway little names. So this yarn has 5 rows each of laugh, grin, chuckle, glee, happiness, delight, bliss, and cheer. And then it does come with a little mini as well, which is nice because I don't have to go digging through my stash trying to find something to match then. So this is the ball of yarn. It is pretty bright for this time of year, especially since it's so foggy out today and kind of dreary, which, sorry about the lighting. I tried my best to get things evened out, but it was really hard with the weather right now. So, but yeah, it's the most beautiful bright color. I think it'll kind of warm me up and get me out of that cold, snowy weather funk. So I'm not sure if I'll just do a plain stockinette pair of socks as well with this, or if I'll try some other self-striping pattern that people have talked about. There is one by the Crazy Sock Lady K. I think it's called Rhinebeck Roomies, and I've actually done a pair of self-striping socks with that pattern before for my sister, and it turned out really pretty. It didn't take away from the stripes too much, so maybe I'll do another pair of those. And yeah, it does come, like I said, with the mini. I'm trying to think what this color is. Oh, it does say the mini is in the color Laugh. So yeah, really looking forward to knitting these up as well. Get that little bag all tied up again later. And then the last one I thought I would show you guys is another yarn from Allie of Fort Explorer Knits and Fibers. This is a sock set, and I don't have the color written down on my show notes. Give me a sec here. So this set is in her colors Snow-Covered Trees and Pine. So I think for this one, I'm going to either find a pattern that I've really wanted to knit for quite a while and knit up some socks with it, or we'll see how inspired I feel over Christmas, I guess, and see if I can come up with another pattern design. They've been flowing pretty easily lately, but I'm trying not to put them out too fast, not to take away the excitement from the other sock patterns, I guess is a good way to put it. yeah, we'll see how that goes. I do have a couple ideas under my belt, but I'm not 100% happy with any of them yet. So we'll leave this one to sit for a little while and kind of see what I come up with. But yeah, that is basically all I had to talk about today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast, and hopefully you want to hear me ramble again. Hopefully I wasn't talking too fast or anything like that. So I'm not sure how often for the next little while I'll be able to record this, just with Christmas coming up and stuff. But my plan is to do it at least once a month, once things kind of settle down again and I'm not traveling a whole bunch and I have a little bit more free time. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching.